They don't even know what the word equity means.
Yeah.
They think it's a new song. Well, easier said than done, right? This one's called I Fucking Told You So. Here on Easier Said Than Done. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Easier Said Than Done. This one here is going to be an absolutely amazing one. It's one of the main things that we push in our branding all the time. It's with InvestorPro, and I'm here with the co-founder, Hausia.
Thanks for having me, man.
Cool, man. And a lot of you loyal fans would have already recognized him from the December seminar. Yeah, so you were there for that one, introduced yourself and gave a bit of a speech on InvestorPro. And how far do you think it's grown since December?
It's been a pretty crazy ride since then.
Yeah.
I think we've definitely had a lot more people sign up. I think part of that potentially is, what we're seeing in the market at the moment, which is, especially in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch and different areas, things are picking up again, Potentially you might say that we're past the bottom. Well, that's my opinion.
Because you work in property as well, right?
Yeah, so I work. My full-time job is for a property developer down in Lower Hutt, and so it's been quite cool to be able to obviously be a part of this project, but also see the side of first-time buyers and everything getting back into the market.
Yeah.
The yields, especially for say investors, are looking a lot better now. Yeah.
Cool, awesome. And you basically how we met was social media, right?
Yeah.
The power of social media, nothing to be laughed at. It's where the future's going. And basically, a bit of a backstory, you saw a little bit of a problem that some investors were dealing with when it comes to clunky spreadsheets, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially I actually reached out to you to offer, cutting up some clips for you or doing some video editing or something. And I think, I don't know about...
I can't remember that.
Yeah,
okay,
bro.
yeah.
Well, it obviously didn't work out.
It's in the DMs though. The receipts are there.
I think that's every kind of wannabe entrepreneur has,
Oh, you reach out and provide value, of course.
Yeah.
I do that still, yeah.
Totally. So I remember reaching out to you. My father-in-law is a kind of seasoned property investor. So post GFC, he picked up quite a lot of property.
Nice.
And I just remember, when I started dating my now wife, looking over his shoulder at the dinner table, and he'd have his spreadsheets out and he'd be, figuring out cash flows and mortgage interest rates and all these different calculations.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, being a little bit obviously younger, I was thinking, what if there was a way to do that, on your phone? And a little bit more intuitive than a spreadsheet. So, you're not going to have any trouble saving your calculations when you come back onto the spreadsheet. The ability to upload documents, photos before and after. But I think the real key was, with the power of, say, AI and things like that are coming up at the moment, for a new property flipper or investor, how do you know if a deal is good or not? It's really trying to answer that question, right?
Yeah.
Which, with you, Tama, doing I don't even know how many flips you're on to now.
We've done over 120 projects now connected to everyone else.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you get that level of intuition about property without having to do that much activity? So if we can kind of condense your knowledge and the way you think about things into a platform where someone like me who's never flipped a property in my life, I can just jump on into how much I think, how much I'll buy the property for, how much I think I'll spend in expenses, and then it will give me a really just, a snapshot.
And it'll go into a lot of the things people forget, such as like GST, tax, other fees associated with it, rather than putting 4 expenses on a napkin and just drawing a line and be like, the calculator says I'll make this.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go unconditional.
Yeah.
And then they realize at the end of it, the accounting statement says that they just lost 12 grand.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck did that go?
And maybe it was because they just didn't understand how interest deductibility works.
Yeah, exactly. Or GST was due at the end, or...
It's a total black box, right? And I think I thought it would be cool to work on a project like that with someone who obviously has a big track record. And it was a good fit.
Yeah, awesome. So that's basically, and where we see it's needed is, as we know, smartphones are just getting better and better, faster, bigger screens, more use, like even the boomer generation, whatever it was, people in their late 40s that are now in their 50s, for my parents growing up, they're all now all in on mobile phones, right?
Yeah.
They know how to text well, they know how to send GIFs, fucking photos, videos. So when you see mobile phones are the thing now, you know, I'm pretty sure laptop sales would have probably dropped off a bit now, right? With how advanced phones are. The idea to not have to put it on the spreadsheet, of course, was the key. And seeing that property is something that you can make decisions on while you're standing inside the actual property. And you're not going to pull out your laptop and start fucking putting numbers in when you're at an open home, right?
Yeah, right.
But everyone will have it on their phone.
Yeah, and even if you, you know, maybe you're at an open home and you've got, you know, the app loaded, you might do, you know, a lot of your calculations and your real work on a computer, but the ability to have the flexibility, whether you're at an open home or you drove past a for sale sign and you're like, oh man, asking price $650, that's crazy. I wonder if I could flip that for a profit.
Yeah.
To be able to quickly whip out your phone and take a few
100%.
photos.
And the main one there in a time-conscious environment would be at an auction.
Yeah.
Because when you're going to auctions, which, you know, I've had a few mentees that have bought at auctions, and we're literally there changing the dollar value right there as it was going up.
Yeah.
Looking at what's the top bill, bid, got a bit emotional, went a bit more, 10 grand, and we can instantly see where it affects the profit number.
Yeah.
Not by having to do it on a piece of paper. You know, you literally got it there that you can change it instantly.
Totally.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Heaps of other benefits that it has, right? And getting the commentary feedback from all the mentees that I've had. So that's the main thing that I do on the mentorships is sit down with them and it's like, cool, here is this tool here, InvestorPro. We're going to put in every single number that is linked to any deal that they're looking at. So they get taught on how to do it properly. They can see it spit out the numbers that, you know, with the tax, GST that they're going to be liable for, agent fees. They can see all the type of expenses that are linked to it that we've put in as templates there. So people might not know what landscaping might cost or staging might cost on a house, and we've sort of given the guide of what it should be, right? And it sort of opens their eyes into, you know, this is a serious thing, right? Getting into property trading and giving them as much tools not to lose money. And they're like always blown away from it. So the feedback from right there, seeing people use it is great to see, right?
Oh, awesome.
And as we know, before this, is there anything like this that's been around that you've seen?
Well, yeah, I think that was part of it. And sometimes I think when you're trying to solve a problem and you can't quite see other solutions in the marketplace, there's a term that I'm aware of after listening to a bunch of podcasts called like a tar pit.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of people might have tried to solve the problem, but they're all doing it. They go about the wrong way and then they end up getting stuck. An example of that is like, oh, I wish there was something that was better than Google, you know, and
Good luck. No.
yeah. And that's what happens though. You get so convinced in your solution, but really what we found was that we went straight to talking to the people who, you know, are working with all the time, right? And there was a real pain problem there with spreadsheets. And, you know, spreadsheets are great and that, you know, they're super flexible. But what happens when, say, what we've just gone through with interest deductibility rules changing and everything like that?
Yeah.
You know, like all the rigid calculations and formulas you had are all kind of outdated. So with an app, that means that we keep things super current. So, and there's a few more options there too.
100%. And like some of the key features that InvestorPro gives people is it's split into mainly like 3 categories, right? You've got the shared deals, which is just deals that can be buy and holds or flips. Then it goes into people's personal dashboard, which will have rentals, right?
Yep.
So you can add your entire portfolio. You can put in your desired portfolio. You can put in anything that you want that'll go into rentals, and they'll go into your rent, interest deductibility, your cash flow analysis, if it's positive, neutral, negative, and then it goes into the flips category, which will also give you the breakdown if it's if this deal's hot or not, based on numbers that we've inputted into it. And another thing that we're looking at doing is finally we're working on getting it fully onto the App Store. So how's that process been?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's been a really cool process. So, I mean, we're working with an accelerator based in Atlanta, Georgia, which for people that don't know is kind of like another Silicon Valley in the States. And that's been really helpful. them kind of hand-holding us through that process of getting it onto the App Store. What's great is that we've got a great working MVP, minimum viable product. So what people are using right now is really version 1 of InvestorPro, and we expect that with the likes of AI and obviously being on the App Store, it's just going to kind of blow up and
become more
have a lot
scalable,
more.
you know?
Yeah.
Because not having it on the App Store, and I know, I read the comments, I hear people say it, oh, where do I download it? Where do I download it? Even though it's like you can click the link in the bio, you can just go to the website, investorpro.co.nz or investorpro.nz. There's been, so many older people that just go to the App Store and find it, but trust me, it is coming, and when it does come, it'll be better, faster than ever, which will be cool. Another cool benefit of it was it's a huge part of for the deal sources. So when I ran that seminar in January for deal sources, there was like literally about 2 hours worth of just non-stop training them on how to be inputting things on the app, also how to share deals. And they can upload the S&P, they can upload all the documents, the photos, they can add notes which contain the Trade Me links, everything you'd possibly need. And it syncs, of course, with your laptop as well, right?
Yeah.
So you've got your laptop and your phone, and you can just make changes straight away. For people, and this is the other thing about it, right? I always tell people, some people that aren't investors, but they're a first home buyer, but they haven't bought their house yet, how would you recommend that this could be helpful for them?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is if you know the expected purchase price, so you know how much you might buy it for, what InvestorPro will help you do is kind of catalog your options. So let's say you're out there going to 10 open homes, and the watch list feature on, say, Trade Me is great for just quickly seeing what you have scheduled for the Sunday, but not necessarily for writing notes on each one about how you liked,
That is true.
or uploading building reports and things.
100%, yes.
Yeah, so it's not really our target market, but if you are a first home buyer and you're thinking about buying property, InvestorPro is a great place to start. At least you can start making notes on how much you would expect to offer on the property. You can start to do some of your calculations if you've got a border or something and you wanted to see how the mortgage repayments might change if you had one of those or whatever it is.
100%. I've even used it on the same tip when it comes to negotiating, is you can find out what it was like, say, previously sold for, and you can find out estimated of the agent fees, and you can sort of calculate what mortgages be linked to that property, depending on, if they put a 20% deposit down or whenever, and you can actually sort of calculate what the vendor will walk away from.
Yeah.
And then we make our offer maybe on that. That's a huge tip. Sometimes, because there's a certain thing when people get a clean number, right? Psychologically, they bought a house for 300K and they're putting on the market for inquiries over 375. You go in and you maybe offer 325. Why? Because to them, they know 25's gone to the agents and the lawyers, and in their head, they're walking away with a clean 300K.
Yeah.
That's what it's like, some psychological that comes into that type of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, which is crazy. But obviously, it is very, very prominently based for investors, right?
Yep.
Investors, buy and hold, or flippers. And the main thing as well is people that have nothing to do with property. Eventually, everyone does come back to property. They then go make their money in sports, and they're going to bring their salaries and their savings that they've made back to real estate. It'll always be there, and that's why resources tab that we're going to be inputting so many valuable webinars. It's a lot of the stuff that I share with students, how I break down deals, how to actually use the app. You've got other checklists, slides from previous seminars that will all be uploaded. Discount codes with suppliers. It's just another massive one that we're going to be looking at growing. And there are quite a bit of other suppliers and tradies that have put forward their services because they want to be hosted on the app. And the app so far right now has around about, just under 1,300 members since December, which is awesome for just a web-based app.
Yeah.
And maybe if we go to the App Store, we can try and get 5,000 members by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty awesome, right? So future goals, what do you think future goals of InvestorPro would be?
I think the biggest future goal I think that we have once we're on the App Store is really to make it a no-brainer for people who are investors. And I think, I have a very high, I call like friction, I guess you call it intolerance for new tools.
Yeah.
So like I understand what it's like maybe you've got a spreadsheet template, or you're doing all your numbers yourself, or whatever it is.
Yeah, you're stubborn as fuck.
Yeah. And it takes a lot, I think, sometimes to even just go to the App Store and download a new app and get sorted. But I think that with some of the features that I'm looking at the moment, especially the likes of AI and things, it's going to make investing in property in New Zealand so easy and so simple. At least that first half of really getting your head around the numbers. Obviously, you've got the second half of actually doing the flip and seeing how things turn out after that.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people who have never dipped their toes into property investing before, InvestorPro is going to give you the chance to jump in, input numbers, and get really concise feedback.
And it's great to also, when you're there trying to convince someone else to maybe JV on a deal with you, or you're asking your parents to use the equity in their house, etc., and you can show them clear, concise numbers.
Yeah.
Very easy, user-friendly on your phone or even on your laptop when you're sitting there, you go to their house for dinner or something, and it's so user-friendly that you can get them to even input the numbers, and then they can come to the conclusion that, it looks like this flip is viable. Yeah. Maybe I will feel a bit more comfortable giving you that 100K savings or whatever for this deal. But if you're just there being like, I can buy it for this, and I can fucking sell it for this and this, and I should make this, they have no visual anything. They just think you're just saying shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. So, and obviously, because InvestorPro gives you the option to change the tax rate, change numerous things that does not bind it to any country, this is an international app. It can be used in any country that has housing, which is every country around the world. America, USA, Australia, and same place, USA and America, right? So you can change the tax rate into your whatever it is, and then people there can use it, because it's the same thing of you just putting in a purchase price, sale price, expenses. You can change the GST and everything like that according to your own thing. So it has great scalability. The resources, we're going to be there to catch all the newbies that just want to learn a bit more about entrepreneurship, business, and obviously property investing. And hopefully just, as you said, make it a no-brainer to people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, in terms of number goals and everything, 5,000 by the end of the year, top app store, downloaded app for New Zealand would be awesome, a great milestone to hit. But I think it's, in my personal opinion, the best apps grow through word of mouth. So, when it is of great value to you, it spreads, without us really even needing to push it that hard. And I think that's the direction we're going, and making the products great. The second thing is we're building this with your feedback. So, investors, it's built by investors for investors, right? It's not someone over there who's got no experience trying to sell this to you. We're condensing 2 years, 3
pushing
years.
something that they have never done before.
Totally,
like people in government.
If you could tell me that I could start my investing journey with the same tools
that someone that's been there,
someone that's doing nearly 120 projects, and I don't mean we both use the same tools. I mean, it's built by that person. And all of the calculations and everything need to be good enough for someone who's doing multiple deals 100%. A month, that needs to be nice and tight. So I would be.
And a lot of the time focus will be going towards building the brand about it. So we want as many people to know about this. It's a huge help. And I've always said, I wish I had this app when I first started. But I didn't. I'm used to say Excel as well. But this is very easy to use. It is seriously plug and play, right?
And I think if you're on the kind of fringes of, Tama's community, or even investing in property, if you're just watching this podcast or this short video right now because you just stumbled upon it, how many Kiwis do you know that are in the process of launching, an app on the App Store and really trying to innovate for New Zealand's biggest economic lever, property,
which is property, correct?
When have you, you've got the likes of say Trade Me and Homes and all these great kind of New Zealand companies, but I think for us, we're trying to make things easier and give it into the tools of your average Kiwi who's trying to invest in property, and I think that for me that looks like a pretty cool message to get behind. So even if when we do launch, we'll make a big hiss and roar, and you'll know that it's happening.
100%.
But we'd love for you to be able to download it and just give us some feedback.
And that's for like the upswing. There's also the angle of InvestorPro for like avoiding the negatives, which I've shown this to a few people where I've actually asked them about, say, a house that they've bought recently, and I literally in front of their face plug in their numbers, their purchase price, their rent, their mortgage, and I do it right there in front of them, and they literally see they're negative like 18 grand a year or something, and they're like, yeah, that does look about right. And they say, and they look at me, they're like, I fucking wish I had this shown to me before I bought this house, because it's been 2 years now, or say it's from 2021. And they've just got this sinking hole of debt that's just draining money out of their pocket because they never saw the numbers clear enough. Because they just took the word of their broker being like, yep, your finance is approved. Yep, you just need to fucking eat ramen noodles for 2 years straight. You need to not spend any money, not go in. But they said they can buy it, but they never actually saw how much it'll cost them. Because what we're doing is we're also trying to give them the power to see the numbers themselves. And that's one of the things here. It's like if you can have control of that, you have it in your pocket, your entire portfolio, you can stay on top of it, you know? That is a thing to avoid the negatives, avoid the debt, which is an emotional thing that for something as easy to use as this app, again, a no-brainer. Yeah. Cool.
Totally.
Well, this is Hausia, and that's pretty much the first episode. We'll probably end up doing another one after a few updates on the App Store. But to get to this point, you know, pretty proud of where we're at.
Yeah. It's been like nearly a year now, maybe.
Yeah,
Probably
since August.
10 months, since we actually got connected and started burning. But just getting started.
Cool. And obviously, if you want to check on him, your Instagram.
Sure. Yeah. Go to my Instagram.
Yeah.
It's mostly just my 2-year-old, but that's cool.
Cool.
Go see what he's up to.
But yeah, pretty happy with what we've come to, and a lot more to come on the app. But it's easier said than done, right?
Totally. Man. I love that. I love that line.
Cool.